We know AI is great for making lots of fingers and coming up with creatively wrong answers, but can it turn your blogs into compelling videos? Thought leadership content is extremely valuable, and we've seen firsthand how adding a video to that mix can drive even more organic traffic to those posts. But video takes a lot of work, so we set out to see if AI tools were up for the job. First, we searched tools and picked a handful to try. Next, we used the same prompt to generate a video with each and compared their output. And finally, we landed on a workflow that performed best and generated a video we're happy with. Let's start at step 1. A quick Google search revealed a huge list of possibilities, and this is what's overwhelming about AI in general, deciding between a ton of new and ever-changing options. However, most of these tools are what are called specialized wrappers. See, there's a limited number of AI models, the actual brains doing all the AI work. The rest of the software just repackages those models and automates the workflow to give you a turnkey, one-click solution. But are these easy-to-use solutions adequate for the job? We tried Pictory, Synthesia, Veed, Adori, InVideo, and Notebook LM. And we used a simple prompt requesting a 90-second video based on our blog post URL. Generally, all these tools gave us some control over our video, such as aspect ratio, tone of the script, casual versus professional for example, audience type, AI voiceover options, and type of B-roll. Once we had a video from each tool, it was time to compare the results. And those results were not great. Pictory tended to pull footage from stock sites, and it looked pretty generic and not very engaging. Whereas Synthesia was able to build a bit more of a PowerPoint-esque presentation that's more useful than stock footage for thought leadership content like our video. And it's known for its AI avatars, so there were more options on how to include those in your videos. Veed and Adori used generative AI instead of pre-existing stock, but it still ended up looking pretty generic and included a lot of AI artifacts such as gibberish text. Some, like Pictory and Synthesia, allowed us to create our own brand guidelines, so that's cool. The first 4 of these tools I mentioned offer URL to video creation as part of their main functionality, while the next 2 aren't obvious choices for this task. InVideo is more of a Gen AI tool that specializes in commercials and fake user-generated content, or UGC. They even allow you to hire a virtual actor for those UGC spots, and so it's a bit of a stretch to use it for this use case. It gave us the option to populate the video with stock or original generative AI content. The stock was stocky,
Think of it like a library,
and sometimes made no sense. And the generative AI was pricey and wildly bad. This is what $30 got us.
The 5 most critical practices for secure corporate video sharing. This isn't fluff. This information.
Most businesses are doing this all wrong, but you're going to be different.
Note the blown out audio and the mid-sentence jump cut, that's how the video is delivered. Notebook LM is a research tool that just happens to have a feature that creates a video summary of your notebook.
All right, let's dive right in.
But funny enough, it did perhaps the best job of creating an informative slide deck for visuals. Like a very good job. But it's not at all customizable, so you get what you get, and every video it creates looks and feels exactly the same. And they're all pretty long too. Overall, none of these options gave us results we'd actually feel good about publishing. Now, a lot of these tools would have allowed us to iterate our way towards improvement, or even go in and adjust script and visuals scene by scene. But thought leadership especially requires a level of control that these tools didn't seem to offer. And so we went on a quest to find an AI workflow that fits our needs. And we found the best option was to use multiple AI tools instead of just one solution. Here's the 5-step process that worked best. First, we fed ChatGPT our blog URL and asked it to create a script for a 90-second video, and then we did a light edit pass on that script. Next, we went to Gamma, which is a tool specifically made for AI presentation decks. We set up our brand guidelines, fed it our script, and asked it to create a presentation. And we found the best way to do this was to paste our script card by card to control what content would correspond to each page. Then our graphic designer did an edit pass on that output to make it really sing. This is sort of a luxury. Our designer Sarah is fantastic, so why wouldn't we gussy these up? But the slides Gamma produced were for sure good enough for anyone who doesn't have a designer on staff. Next, we used 11 Labs to generate a voiceover from the script. In this case, I created a voice clone of myself by feeding it 60 minutes of professionally recorded content from our how-to video series. In this episode, we'll cover indoor. Then we whipped up an AI song in Suno, and finally edited all these elements together in DaVinci Resolve. Here's the result, a 90-second video on metadata. Metadata is the information behind digital content that tells search engines what it's about. When it comes to video, metadata is essential for making your content discoverable. Think of it as a library card catalog. Metadata allows search engines to interpret and find your content. For videos, metadata is mainly the title, description, tags, and URL where the video is embedded. Search engines display video results directly in search, but since they can't actually watch your video, they depend on metadata to categorize and rank it. There are 3 types of metadata. Descriptive metadata includes things like titles, descriptions, tags, runtime, and file type. Administrative metadata covers ownership, copyright, and permissions. Structural metadata shows relationships like chapters or episodes. For SEO, descriptive metadata matters most. To optimize it, start with a keyword or phrase relevant to your video that has traffic you can realistically compete for. Then build it into your metadata. In your title, include the keyword and make sure it's accurate and engaging. In your description, put the keyword early and briefly explain what viewers can expect. Use a few short, relevant tags. Lastly, align your video with the page. Add the keyword and place the video front and center. Sprout video users can view and edit scripted metadata right in video settings. To bring it all together, create a video sitemap. Sitemaps tell search engines where to find your content. The Sprout Video platform makes it easy to create and automatically update your sitemap, so your video reach expands with your content. In the end, optimized video metadata makes your content easier to find, easier to rank, and more likely to reach the right audience. This isn't a one-click solution, but it automates a lot of the time-consuming stuff while giving you plenty of control over the final product. It may seem like a complicated workflow, but the whole process took us 2.5 hours. And without the edits to the script or slides, you could do it in an hour or less. That's impressive for sure. AI might not be a one-click solution for thought leadership content quite yet, but it definitely accelerates the production process if you know what tools to use. We think this workflow will probably change in a few months as new tools pop up and fill the gaps, and this rapid innovation for sure makes us keep our heads on a swivel as we integrate all these tools into our day-to-day workflow. So we'll keep up on this and let you know as new changes and innovations land. Want to put this process to work for your content? Check out the step-by-step blog post in the description, and thanks for watching.